It's green, that means it's on. All of the mics.
Aaron, I didn't know you were here.
Yes. I was surprising you.
Yes, this is a short meeting.
We learned about that last week.
Great to see you.
I call this June 5th Planning Commission meeting to order. We have a few items actually 2 items to consider today. We'll start with the minutes from the last meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 1st, 2025.
In a second? You were there. Yeah. You can second. It's a motion. A motion has been made and properly seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand.
If you need a majority, can I?
Yes, it's recorded.
Say yes.
You're approving as recorded. Yeah, that's fine. We don't leave unapproved items on the agenda. Next thing is items from staff, and Erin is going to read the procedures for tonight.
Thank you, Chairman. The public hearing procedures. An individual requesting to be heard on a matter related to the purpose of the hearing must be recognized by the chairman before addressing the commission. Upon rising to speak, the speaker must identify themselves and furnish a home or business address before proceeding with any comments or remarks. The commission will allow the proponents a total of 10 minutes to speak in support of an application. Opponents will be allowed 10 minutes to speak in opposition. Comments are accepted first from the applicant, followed by persons speaking in favor, and then from those in opposition. Upon conclusion of any opposing comments or presentations, the chair will allow the applicant to offer rebuttal if at any time is remaining in the original allotted 10 minutes. If you are here for public comment, please fill out a public comment card. We have some in the lobby on the table outside of the council chambers, and I also have some up here if you need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. First item on the agenda is CU-25-09, Chang's Taekwondo Academy, and Michael will be presenting.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. The first item before you is a request for conditional use to allow a school commercial in a 2,200 square foot suite in an existing shopping center for Chang's Taekwondo Academy. The business is a martial arts school, and the property, I have the location map here, the property is located at 480 North Main Street. It's Suite 216 on the west side of North Main Street, just south of Canton Street. This property is zoned OP, Office Professional. It's developed with a 2-story building, Main Street Walk. I've got some street view pictures. Main Street Walk is up on the north end of North Main Street, kind of right before the bend in the road there. And there are actually 2 buildings. There's a 2-story building that is zoned OP, Office Professional, and then there's a 1-story building north of it that is zoned commercial. I believe it's C1. In the OP zoning district, this use does require a conditional use, which is why the applicant has come forward to you this evening. Chang's Taekwondo Academy, again, is a martial arts school in operation since 1989. The business offers after-school programs and martial arts classes for children, teens, and adults. The business does have an existing location on Highway 9. It's at 12915 Highway 9. That's in the city of Milton. And they are proposed, if approved, they're proposing to relocate to this location. Hours of operation are proposed to be Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., and then Sunday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the applicant is anticipating 2 employees. This is the survey of the property. Again, there are 2 buildings on the property. The 2-story building is here on the south end of the property, and the applicant's suite is on the 2nd floor of the 2-story building on the north end of that 2-story building. The applicant is not proposing any changes to this site or to the building with this request, and this proposal is supported by sufficient parking within the development. Looking at the review criteria for the conditional use, we found that the proposal would not adversely affect adjacent or nearby properties. They're primarily developed with commercial and office uses. Similar uses, such as a dance studio, has been approved within Main Street Walk previously. The applicant did provide a citizen participation report indicating that they received no public comments, and they received no public comments at the May 14th Community Zoning Information Meeting. With that, staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request subject to 5 conditions, and I'll go through those. Condition 1, school commercial shall be added as a conditional use at 480 North Main Street, Suite 216, and limited to no more than 2,200 square feet. 2, conditional use approval shall be limited to Chang's Taekwondo Academy. No additional school commercial use or subleasing shall be permitted within the approved space. 3, school commercial shall be limited to a martial arts studio and after-school program. 4, hours of operation shall be Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And condition number 5, signage used for the business shall be submitted to DRB and in compliance with the city sign code. And that concludes the presentation. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Any questions for Michael? No questions at this time. We'll ask the applicant to come forward and make a presentation.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Good
ma'am.
evening.
My name is Oi Hwang Jung. I'm Grandmaster of Taekwondo. I'm teaching Taekwondo almost 50 years. Yes. So I'm very well. I want to Alpharetta. Thank you very much for your open Alpharetta. I think it's my last time. Yeah, it's open to school. So when you give me an opportunity, I want to serve with kids teaching for Taekwondo, this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Been here since 1989.
Yes, sir.
You taught all my kids Taekwondo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you living, the current location?
I live now, it's a Duluth. Yes.
Okay, coming closer downtown.
No, I'm from Korea, you know.
I say, where are you living, the current location? Are you not right next to Walmart?
Yes, sir. Yes. Next Walmart. Yes.
Yeah. Where are you living, that location? And moving?
Now I'm a little old. My age is a little old, so my school is very big now. Yeah. Also, this owner want space too big for me, so now I want to reduce
Downsizing?
Also, I like Alpharetta.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
Helped a lot of kids, including my 3 children.
Yeah.
Any questions for the applicant?
I just have, pardon me, a very easy question. What is the largest class you'll have?
I'm sorry.
How big a class? How many kids in each class?
Now 2,200 square feet, so each class may be 15 or 10 or 15 people, student.
Will you have competitions at that location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We have a lot of competition. Also, I have a lot of national champion. Before I have a lot of world champion also, USA champion. But now also we have a lot of we have a competition also.
Okay. So there isn't a worry about enough parking for a big class or a competition?
No problem over there. Okay. Yes, each class may be 10 people or 15.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The hours of operation that are showing is 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. During Monday through Friday, 10 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Are those hours good for you?
Most we have using after 4 o'clock, but sometimes people come in the morning, few people. So most we have a class 4 o'clock until 8:30, 8 o'clock. Saturday also we have 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. But some people come special training in the morning, few people. Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? No other questions at this time, but the board can always ask questions later.
Yeah, I think, it's not.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to open the meeting for public comment. I see one person. Do you like to say something? All right. Now I'm going to close public comment. You can take a seat, and I'll turn this over to the board for discussion and or motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve CU-25-09 Chung's Taekwondo Academy, subject to the conditions that Michael has laid out in the staff recommendations.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. In favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. It's going to council on June the 23rd. But the recommendation is for approval from City Council. Second item is V-25-09/E-25-05 Dogwood Square. Michael?
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. The next item before you is a request from Dogwood Square. They're requesting a parking special exception to reduce parking and a variance to gate a private street. The applicant's request is related to a rehabilitation of the property. And the applicant is specifically requesting a parking special exception to reduce parking from 90 spaces to 86 spaces, so a reduction of 4 spaces. And then a variance to allow Janice Lane, which is a private street, to be gated. I have the location map on the overhead. This property is located at 555 Janice Lane. This is located in the downtown overlay. It's a 3.1 acre property. Let me just show you some street views real quick. So this is a view turning off of Highway 9, South Main Street onto Janice Lane, coming in, so that's what you see here. And then as you enter the development, so around the corner here into their parking lot, this is the building. And this is the applicant's site plan. Again, a 3.1 acre property, it's zone C2 general commercial. It was developed in 1987. It's a 5-story multifamily building. The building has it's a 100-unit residential building, and it serves low-income seniors and physically handicapped individuals. Before I get into the details of the site plan, I just want to go a little bit more into the applicant's request. Typically, when you see an applicant come forward to reduce parking, you're used to seeing that request as a variance. In the downtown, when you reduce parking, or if you cannot meet parking on your property, you either request a parking special exception or you request parking in lieu fees. We don't have a parking variance in the downtown, so that's the difference between downtown and the rest of the city. So the applicant is asking to reduce the overall parking from 90 to 86 spaces. The code says that exceptions may be granted when the character of the use is such that the full provisions of the on-site parking facilities is unnecessary. And given that this particular location serves a population that is not driving as much as what we would typically find in a multifamily building, believe that that is supported. As it relates to the details of the parking, the UDC required when Dogwood Square was built, it required 1 parking space per bedroom or 100 spaces because they have 100 units. A parking variance was granted in, looks like 1985, although I think that number, I believe that that was meant to be, I don't know if that was correct because I believe that the development was developed in 87. Either way, there was a parking variance that was granted. I believe that it was in the 80s, and it did reduce the parking on the property from 100 spaces to 90 spaces. So they did already receive a reduction of 10 spaces at that location. And this reduction would be for an additional 4 spaces. This reduction would allow for the rehab of the property that is proposed, where they're making some ADA and emergency accessibility improvements to the site and outdoor amenity improvements to the site. So most of it, and just taking this back to the site plan. So again, this is Janice Lane coming in off of South Main Street. This is the 100-unit building here, and then the associated parking. The applicant is doing a rehab, and the applicant is here, and we'll go through the details of that rehab. But a lot of the site changes deal with adding outdoor amenity spaces for the residents of this building. as well as making some changes to allow for emergency services to more efficiently get in to this location. The other part of this request is the applicant is proposing to gate the development at this location. So where Janice Lane terminates at this location, they're asking to gate it at this location here. This would be the call box at this location, and we do allow for a turnaround in this location. The reason why they are seeking the variance to gate Janice Lane is because the Maxwell mixed-use development is located immediately adjacent to this development. And if you've been to the Maxwell, there's occasionally it can be difficult to find parking. Some of the, during evenings and during events at the Maxwell, Dogwood Square has experienced customers from the Maxwell parking along Janice Lane, on both sides of Janice Lane, and parking in their parking lot. And that's why they're requesting to gate this development for their residents' safety as well. Also, they don't need the street blocked up if emergency vehicles are trying to get to this location. Looking at the review criteria for the parking special exception and the variance, we found that Dogwood Square serves seniors and physically handicapped individuals and does not demand as much parking as required by the UDC. The variance to allow the property to be gated would improve the safety of Dogwood Square residents and deter customers from the Maxwell from utilizing Dogwood Square's parking lot. If approved, we are recommending aesthetic improvements along Janice Lane, as well as an easement for the Alpha Loop. So there is a segment of the Alpha Loop that runs adjacent to this property. I'll show you an exhibit that takes the Alpha Loop and crosses over Janice Lane to get up to Old Milton Parkway in just a moment. The applicant did provide a citizen participation report indicating that they received no public comments. And they did receive one public comment in support at the May 14th Community Zoning Information Meeting. With that, staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request. Before I go into all the conditions, one of the conditions will address the Alpha Loop. So this is Janice Lane here. This is Janice Lane here, and then the Alpha Loop kind of wraps around the north side of the Maxwell development. So we thought there's no plans, no funding for this potential connection of the Alpha Loop. This is just an initial, represents an opportunity to secure an easement from this property owner for this potential connection in the future. So this Exhibit A is referenced in one of the conditions. So again, staff is recommending approval of the applicant's request subject to 7 conditions, starting with Condition 1, site improvement shall be developed substantially as depicted on the submitted site plan as approved by staff. 2, Janice Lane shall be permitted to be gated substantially as depicted on the submitted site plan, and gating shall be privately maintained by the property owner. 3, gate access shall be provided by siren, keypad, Knox key, and meet 2012 IFC 503.6. This relates to the fire marshal. Condition 4, parking shall be permitted as requested by the applicant. Condition 5, no parking and no turnaround signs shall be added along Janice Lane as approved by staff. Condition 6, subject to HUD approval, a 10-foot public access easement shall be dedicated to the city at the end of the Alpha Loop for a future pedestrian crossing as depicted in Exhibit A. Again, this is that exhibit. And then condition number 7, chain link fence around detention pond on Janice Lane shall be replaced with a decorative black metal fence as approved by staff. A row of shrubs shall be planted along the perimeter of the fence where visible from Janice Lane as approved by staff. And that concludes the presentation. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Michael, condition number 5 can probably request some clarification. The way it reads can be read 2 different ways, that no parking and no turnout signs shall be added. That means you're prohibiting them, or you're requiring that they be put there. So I think probably putting no parking in quotes and no turnaround in quotes signs may make it clear that you are going to require they put those signs.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions for Michael?
Michael, I do have one on the chain link fence. On the picture you have up there now, I'm assuming that that's represented there.
I have a picture of that I did
drove
want to
through,
show
I
you.
totally missed that.
1 second.
So I guess really going into this is, if cars are using cars are using Janice Lane as parking now, the signs are one thing, but is that really going to stop the bad behavior? So, is there anything we can do to red stripe the side curbs?
So the applicant is proposing to red stripe the curbs on their site plan, so they
Okay,
have
I didn't know if that was what, okay.
Yeah. So we do still think that we need some signage up there as well. We need the signage and so that we can
Okay.
enforce that.
Yeah, I think with the demographics of this particular unit and making sure that's accessible is kind of critical.
Yes.
So I don't know, more frequent drive-bys or whatever, but that's a big concern. And then the other question I have relates to the, never mind, I'll hold my other question.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Michael, with the red striping, which I think is a good idea because it shows up, occasionally with the red striping, you also see, fire lane, which kind of gets people a little bit freaked out because I know that, at the schools, when they have like the red and it says fire lane, it's like, no, you're going to get
Yeah.
like really, really bad in trouble for that. So I don't know if that's a possibility.
Yeah, like I said, they are proposing. There's a little call out on here. It's a little bit difficult to read, but they've got the paint the red curb along Janus. So I do think that will be helpful. We just thought that the signage was also important. Yeah.
I did think of my other question. May I? Okay, so apologize. So one of the things that was surprising to me, based on the applicants, the ADA compliant requirement and the fact there are quite a few handicap residents, is the number of handicap spots taken into consideration the demographics of that unit? I was surprised there were so few, to be honest with you. Maybe that's a question for the applicant, but.
I would defer to the applicant there, but we do, so our fire marshal and public safety department does weigh in on parking, ADA parking. And I don't recall exactly what the requirement is, but this does not look like it's short of what the typical requirement would be.
I expected to see more, so that's one of the things that I was wondering about. So, okay, great, thank you.
All right, no further questions. I assume you are the applicant. You can come forward and make a presentation.
Good evening. I'm
Good evening.
Sissy Watson with Mansamar Development. And do you want my address?
Yes.
I live at 1171 Hammond Creek Trail in Watkinsville, Georgia. So I'm from the Athens area. And we are very excited about the renovation and the preservation of Dogwood Square. And so thank you for hearing our request this evening. This property serves very low-income individuals, and it has since the doors were opened in 1987. And I do think that the one variance was actually given in 85 because it closed in 86, but then took over a year of construction. But the community is beautiful now, but it's a bit tired, and it has not had a renovation since it was built. And so we're thrilled to be able to provide the funding to do that. The property itself will be completely redone on the inside. The residents will actually be relocated, and the interiors of the units will be completely redone. And then we'll move them back in as quickly as possible. So they'll have new flooring, light fixtures, cabinets, the whole 9 yards, new bathrooms, toilets, vanities, showers. It'll be very nice. And we use higher end products, even though it's more of an affordable community. It'll be beautiful. And then we'll be doing some on the exterior, not a lot. The building's brick is in very good shape, so it will have a good cleaning and a resealing. And we will actually bump out the front of the building in order to enlarge the community room. There's a community room where all the residents can gather, and it's just not quite big enough for everyone to gather. So we'll be expanding it, and then we will also be creating a large kitchen in that community area. And we'll be adding other amenities on the interior for the residents, such as computer stations, and we'll do some computer training, and we'll also have a fitness room, which the property does not have now. And then the offices will be redone, reconfigured, and upgraded. So we're very excited about that. We'll also have a couple of gathering areas on the upper floors, on the second and fourth floors. On the exterior, what you will see is the bump out that I mentioned there on the front, as well as the outdoor amenity areas with the shelters that we'll have outside. And a lot of our seniors like to walk, and we have a large parking lot, so it's easy for them to walk there around the community and even out on Janice Lane. And we do have a few pets, and we encourage pets for those that are pet lovers, because we just think that creates more enjoyment for more quality of life. But those are the biggest things that you'll see on the exterior. There will be the addition of a retaining wall, and we have a great area for raised garden beds. A lot of our seniors enjoy gardening, but it's hard for them to get down to the ground, and so we provide larger beds and that are also accessible for people that are on walkers or wheelchairs. And so it's a lovely pastime for a lot of our seniors, and we have some beautiful gardens in some of our facilities, both vegetables, fruit, and just flowers. So that will be the major extent, but the property will just be beautiful. The parking lot will be redone, restriped. Everything will just look fresh and clean with some nice upgrades. And the wonderful part is all of the citizens that live there now will be able to continue to live there for another 20 years. This type of funding source for this community will be paid off in 2 years. In 27, it will be the 40-year anniversary. The mortgage will be paid off, and there will no longer be a restriction to maintain the affordability. But the existing owner now is a nonprofit organization, and they very much are focused on the mission of serving the low-income seniors, and would not entertain selling to anyone other than another nonprofit that would be very focused on maintaining the affordability. So we've been able to work out all of the logistics of maintaining the affordability. We actually have received low-income housing tax credits from DCA, and so it will continue to serve the exact same clientele that it has. The last I checked, we had 37 people on our waiting list. It is very needed. The waiting list is closed, and typically it's not opened unless there's less than 25 on the waiting list, because it will take us between 5 and 10 years to work through the waiting list that we have now. So it's very much needed, and it is such a blessing to be able to continue to provide the housing, and not only provide what they have now, but to upgrade it and to make it more beautiful with more amenities. So it is truly our joy. We're very mission-oriented, and it's just a lot of fun. We just celebrated a grand reopening celebration for a property in Covington, very much like this property. It's 114 units, and I really hope that you all will be able to join us when we have this celebration a year from now, because there's no greater joy. It is just, our residents are so grateful, and it's so fun, and we do a huge celebration because it's hard to live through the construction. So we do it usually for lunch, and we buy double the amount of food we need so everybody can take a plate home to have for their dinner or lunch the next day, and we just celebrate the residents. So anyway, we're very excited about it. Love to share more with you, but I'll let you ask questions so I don't keep you here too long this evening.
I can tell you're very passionate about this, and it seems like it gives you great joy. I think a society's conscience can be measured on how they take care of their elderly. And this is such an important part of our city. How many of your residents, percentage-wise, approximately, have vehicles?
Well, it varies. I will tell you, my gut from being on site and not looking at the rent roll, I would have to do some research to print out the exact number, would be somewhere between 50 and 60% of the residents.
50, half to about 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I will tell you, we are thrilled to have the 86 parking spaces, and we feel that that will be plenty. We like to have the additional parking for the residents' friends that come to visit, or we do have some home health caregivers that will come and go. This is independent living, so everybody that lives here is able to live independently. However, some might have a family member or a loved one that would come and visit them to help them with, cleaning house, or, maybe some of our residents have Meals on Wheels where meals are brought in. So we certainly typically do not ever need that percentage, which it would be 86%. Again, because a lot of our residents can't afford keeping a vehicle, and now the insurance is so expensive on vehicles. Sometimes they would like to keep their vehicles, but rarely drive them and can't because of the expense of the insurance. So 86% we have found is more than plenty at all of the communities that we manage.
The report, I think, said 15 open spaces approximately, if I read that correctly.
Open spaces?
There has been.
Oh, yes, yes, and many more even. I was there the other evening, and I counted 20-something that were 28, I think, that were vacant, and it was around dinner time. And most of our residents are out and about during the day, but typically are home earlier in the evening. Many don't like to drive at night because it's just harder for them to see. And I was surprised, actually, that we had 28 vacants when I was there, as it was just approaching dark.
Are you in agreement with all the conditions?
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, I do have a quick question. So I have served senior Meals on Wheels there.
Awesome.
So I'm thrilled to see that the upgrades are coming because I think it's time.
Yes.
I do have a question on I wasn't aware is there a current kitchen in the community room or just expanding it? You don't do food service per se.
We do not,
Okay.
no, but we do a lot of parties.
So catering kind of.
Or, not really catering as much as potlucks.
Okay.
Or, sometimes, I know the gentleman that owns the State Farm building just right at the corner there of Janice Lane. He used to bring over turkeys and hams at Christmas, and then either we would raise money for the sides and stuff like that. But getting everyone together, we feel, is just so important. And it's been even so much more important since COVID because there was such fear and people weren't enjoying each other. And quite honestly, it really affects the seniors population from a really mental health perspective. They need the social interaction. So we'll do birthday parties, bingo nights, lots of activities to keep our residents. The new kitchen is we'll have 2 ovens, which we use a lot when we are doing events, and it has a refrigerator and a freezer. So if we do ice cream cakes and stuff like that, we have the space, and then we'll have large islands primarily for serving. We have a particular design that we're implementing on all of our renovations, which is actually 4 pieces that all fit together. So it can be a very wide and long island, or you can separate it out in 2 thinner ones for serving, and that's what we'll do for our grand reopening celebration, but it's just very utilitarian. And we also have begun doing some cooking demonstrations. So we do have a stove, but it's a normal stove that would be in any of our units. But we do have the refrigerator and the freezer, so we can do some fun activities with food, whether it's just working on the artisan side of food, of preparing pretty things, or actually cooking classes. And we found that, especially in the South, that our seniors really enjoy that.
Oh, that's great. And then what is your time frame on all this?
Our goal is to break ground either August or September. We're hopeful for the end of August. And then we will be finished with construction before the end of '26. So that's allowing a couple of months for contingency in case we have delays. The general contractor that we're working with on this community is our favorite in terms of being able to do the units quickly so that we can get our seniors out and back in quickly. We're looking into a couple of areas of the absolute scope of work, from the plumbing and electrical, making sure we've gotten, and sometimes if we do more electrical or more plumbing, we do have to keep the seniors out a little longer because it just takes longer when you have to open up the walls. If we're doing everything that you see, it's not nearly as difficult. I mean, you know, sinks and faucets are very quick. So, yeah, we're very excited about it. So we'll be finished and we'll deliver the tax credits before the end of the year in '26.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
I had one. This is just a detail question. It would have no bearing on the application itself, but it occurred to me to wonder if there were any terms in resident leases about availability of parking that would need to be maybe updated.
No, there's not. And in fact, there are many of these types of facilities in very urban areas that have zero parking. And it just isn't usually an issue, even as far as leasing up, because so many of this sector of the population does not drive or does have the resources, financial resources, to have a car. So no, there are none in our lease.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
No other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you all so much.
There's no one in the public to speak, so pointless to open public comment. I'm going to turn these over to the board for consideration, but just reviewing the application, listening to you, and knowing the area, I think this is one of those that is really easy to make a decision, I think, based on the upgrades and the population you're serving, what is prompting you to do this, people parking, it's a security issue here. I'm in full support of this application.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask one quick question of Michael?
You can.
Sorry, Michael.
You're duly recognized.
It's quick. Just because we see a lot of applications, is there any particular reason that there is not a sidewalk included on Janice Lane to make this accessible? Is it because the demographics aren't doing as much walking, or?
Janice Lane was built when this property was built. It was built for this property. So likely we did not, back in the 80s, we may not have a required sidewalk along it. And again, it was a private street as well.
Okay. And that's fine. I just, it stuck out at me because we do a lot of new applications or, look at different zoning changes. Sidewalks is something that's always been put in, but it wasn't put in on the other side of Janice Lane.
Well, what I would say is there is the Alpha Loop that is there along Janice Lane. So
Yeah.
let me just, let me bring this up here. It's not very clear on this drawing, but this is the Alpha Loop here. This is off-site,
Oh,
and then it comes around and follows around Janice Lane.
and so that's I didn't realize that. So that, okay.
Yeah, so this is the Alpha Loop here, which is effectively a sidewalk as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
I'm not 100%. I believe that it continues all the way to Route 9 here, but I'm not 100%. I'd need to look at an arrow real quick, but I believe that there is connectivity through the Alpha Loop.
Okay. I was so focused on looking at the building when I drove in, I didn't look at the.
It's not clear though,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see it.
Great, thank you. That's all.
I'd just like to make a comment, and that's it's really lovely to see investment in this property, which has served the community for so long. I know that the waiting list is long. I work with a church group that we talk about y'all a lot. So it's nice to see the investment.
And then safety really trumps parking. One of the things I'd like to mention as we continue to redevelop our city, because there are not many opportunities for new construction other than redevelopment, is to be very mindful of the need for parking. I don't like parking variances a lot for that very reason. So as we move forward and new applications come to us, and this is to staff, we need to be very careful because we can run out of parking very easily, become a very congested and livable city.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve E-25-05/V-25-09 Dogwood Square, subject to the 7 conditions as outlined by staff, including the punctuation recommendation on item number 5.
Second.
All right, a motion has been made and properly seconded. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. It goes before council on June the 23rd. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you so much for what you do. Anything else for consideration by the board? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. It's now about 7:13 p.m. Just a quick meeting.